Ogen yogi nukjansam, Pemage sardampola, Yatsen chogi ngodrune, Pemajune jesuja, Kudu kandro manpoko, Yeki jesu druki, Jinji lo chi sheksu so, Guru Pema Siddhi.
So the first thing that we do whenever we begin any activity, really, but whether we're sitting down to meditate or listening to a Dharma talk or starting our workday or getting up in the morning, at any time, it's good to start by establishing our compassionate intention. So let's just take a moment to do that now and to remember all sentient beings have once been our mothers or fathers or children, and we wish to care for them and repay the kindness that they have shown us lifetime after lifetime. And so in order to do that, we are embarking on this path, or we are engaging in these meditations in order to bring peace and an end of suffering to all beings. So let's just take a moment to center in that intention. So in this class, we're going to do 3 meditations today. These are meditations that we typically do in the Saturday morning class. And the first kind of meditation that we'll be doing today is the calm abiding meditation, stabilizing the mind meditation. So usually our minds are leading us around rather than us being steering the ship. Our minds are usually our emotions and our, errant thoughts are just throwing us this way and that way. And it's really not fun. It's really not fun when you don't have control over your experience. When someone else is bossing us around, that's not any fun. And our minds do that to us all day long. Our minds are bossing us around, and we're kind of just tossed on this wave of emotions all the time. And everything around us seems very real. And so the ups and downs of our life create all these ups and downs in our mind because we react to them with this very constricted, dualistic way of looking at the world. And so everything that happens, we are like, oh, yay, something good happened, and we go up, and then, oh no, something bad happened, and we go down, and we are just tossed around all the time. And through meditation, we are able to calm and stabilize the mind and help to calm those waves. We're not tossed around all the time by our experiences and our emotions. And this does many things. One thing, it brings us a lot of peace in our day-to-day life. It definitely makes our day-to-day experience more enjoyable, not having so much upset constantly. And it can make it easier for us to stay present and loving in the moment with, those who we're interacting with in our lives. And it helps us to it helps us to balance our emotions, to have when we stabilize the mind, we actually create space in the mind. And that space is what helps us to balance our emotions. And it gives us time between, sometimes you have these days where you just feel like you have no space. You feel so claustrophobic with everything that's happening to you. And someone says one little off thing and you're like, well, you know what, and you just like, you just can't even help it. You're just like, bam, you react. And, and then you have other days where someone says something and it just rolls off your back. No big deal. For some reason, you just feel more spacious that day. And you're able to roll the punches more, or, things don't ruffle your feathers as much. You have a little bit more space. You're not quite as like quick to react. We all have like fluctuations like this, days when we're more reactive and days when we have more space. But it's not consistent. We can't rely on having space. We can't guarantee that, for instance, if I were to get caught off in traffic and get in a car accident, I can't guarantee that I won't get angry. And what if I die in a car accident? What if that is the end of my life? I can't guarantee that I will be able to have the peaceful, focused mind that I want at the end of my life. I can't guarantee that, because I know that if someone cuts me off in traffic, I'm probably going to have an emotional reaction to that and be in that state of emotional reactivity for that car accident to end badly. I wouldn't necessarily be in my nice meditative state. And if I think throughout my day, just how many things and how many small petty things stir up those strong emotional reactions, I really feel like I have no guarantee of having a stable mind at the end of my life, unless I really, really practice it. Any of us could die at any moment. And that is the only certainty any of us really have, is that we will die at some time. We don't know when, we don't know how. And that's our one guarantee. So we want to be ready for it and prepare ourselves as much as we can. In the Buddhist tradition, that is really a great opportunity, the moment of death. That is a time when you can direct your consciousness in the way you want to go to go towards enlightenment. We're freed of this body, and we have this brief opportunity in which we can make a leap. And only if we're ready for it, though, only if we have laid the groundwork and stabilized our mind, and we know that we can, focus ourselves when we need to, and not be tossed around by our emotions all of the time. We have to have some certainty in our own ability to tame our mind, our own ability to work with our mind and to focus when we need to. And so we only do that by practice. We've been practicing a habit of distraction for a very, very, very long time, for lifetimes after lifetimes. So that's what we're really, really good at. We're really good at being distracted. We're really good at thinking about ourselves and what's in it for me, and how can I make myself comfortable? And that's just a result of what we've practiced. So we can practice different things, and we'll get good at whatever we practice. So we can practice having a calm, stable mind, a spacious mind, a loving mind. We can practice having that. And that's how we gain certainty that would be our state of mind at the time of death, is if we can practice having that in our daily life. Then we know if I can do that when, I don't know, my kid's throwing his food on the floor, or someone's cutting me off in traffic, or, someone says something to me that really punctures my ego. If I can have a calm, stable mind in those moments, I would feel much more confident about having a calm, stable mind at what could possibly be really the most upsetting moment of my life, which is the moment I say goodbye to it. So that's a time we really have to be prepared for. So I'm sorry, Buddhists love to talk about death. We go straight to the depressing topics. And also in our life, it makes such a big difference. And if you've seen the monks walking for peace across the country? It's so beautiful and it's so inspiring. And I love seeing all of these people that come out of their houses with their jobs and they go and they line the streets, and I saw like somewhere in like South Carolina, I think they shut down a bridge because so many people were walking with them across the bridge. And people are having these really touching experiences. I'm seeing so many people. I've seen, friends in different places across the country that have, gone out of their way to see them, and people who aren't Buddhist, but they're really moved by this symbol of people holding space for peace. It is just so moving. It is something that people are so hungry for in this world because we have so little peace in this world. It's so turbulent and there's so much cruelty and just depravity in the world, which I think we can all see if you've opened your phone recently, you might have noticed. So the fact that here is a group of people just really holding down peace, just really committed to peace is just extraordinary in this world. And I just feel like you can see what a difference it's making across the country. Just this very simple thing of these monks, just they're meditating and they're walking, and that's it. And all of these people, they're giving people this gift of peace and this sense of relief and the sense that there is a way to achieve peace. And maybe I could feel peace like that. And any one of us can be the peace. Any one of us can create that space and saying, this is a crazy world, but in this 2 square feet, it's going to be peaceful. It's going to be peaceful. It's going to be loving. That is what I am bringing into the world. I can control this space, and that's it. I really can't control anything beyond that, but I can learn to control my mind, and I can learn to hold that space for peace, to hold the possibility for peace and love, and be that anchor for others to join with. And I'm sure we've all had experiences where, where someone does this for you in your day. I had the other day, I was just checking out at a store, and the guy who was the cashier, he was just so grounded and he was just like a stone at the bottom of the river. Like he was just like grounded and just peaceful. It changed my day. Like just this little, he didn't say anything special. It was just, how are you? Oh, okay, yeah, you like this? Okay, great. Okay, here's this much, whatever. Just simple interaction. But his vibe, he was just so grounded. And I just left there so happy and feeling more grounded myself. Like it was just such a gift. His presence was such a gift. And we can do that, it's so simple, but that is something that we can do. And I think with how tumultuous the world is, it can often feel like there's very little we can do. What difference can we make in the world? But it makes such a big difference for us to just hold space for peace, hold space for love, to just go out in the world with hearts of compassion and just hold that down. That makes a huge difference with everyone we interact with and just with the world we're in. It makes a difference. So there really is quite a lot that we can do. And it's very simple. And it just starts with meditating and learning to tame our mind and then carrying that out into the world with us. So this first meditation that we're going to do, it's a very simple meditation. all we do is we rest our attention on the breath. And you can do this meditation with resting your attention on like the flame of a candle. You do that. That's one of my favorite ways to do this meditation. You can also rest your attention on like a flower or an image of the Buddha or really anything. The point is having an object of focus and then resting your attention on it. So we're going to just take a comfortable seat. You can do this meditation whether you're sitting in a chair or sitting on the floor. You just don't want to do this laying down because you might fall asleep. And we're not trying to fall asleep. We're trying to wake up. So just place your hands in your lap, gently relaxed. You can also, traditionally, we hold one hand and the other with the thumbs touching, and place the hands so the thumbs are just below your belly button. But you can also just rest your hands on your legs, whichever is more comfortable. And then check in with your posture. Your spine is straight, like a stack of coins. One vertebra stacked on top of the other. And your body is relaxed. Your muscles are relaxed. Not tensely sitting up straight, but it's kind of like just allowing the architecture of your body to rest on itself so that you don't have to strain to hold yourself up. Your vertebrae are resting on each other. Your elbows are out a little bit away from your body, so we're not collapsed in on ourselves. We have room around our rib cage for us to breathe. When our breathing is constricted, when we collapse in, we collapse our rib cage and our breathing is constricted, making it difficult for the breath to pass in and out, that makes it harder for us to let our thoughts pass through as well. So by having a lot of room to breathe, allowing easy flow of the breath, that helps our thoughts easily flow as well without us getting stuck in them. And your eyes are going to stay open. You can imagine a line following the bridge of your nose, down, down, down to the ground. And just find a point along that line where it's comfortable to rest your gaze. And then lastly, place the tip of your tongue right behind your front teeth. It's like saying the letter L. And allow yourself to relax completely and breathe normally. Just settle into your natural rhythm of breathing. For some people, this will be in and out through the nose. For some people, you may breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Whatever feels natural for you is fine. And then put a very light attention on your breath. Don't try to control it at all. Just breathe naturally with the most gossamer thin attention on your breath. It's like taking your pulse. You don't put any pressure on it, just observe it. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. As you meditate, thoughts will come up, and that's okay. When thoughts come up, just let them go like bubbles popping on the surface of a pond. Don't even look to see what they are. Just let them pop. Just let them go. Your meditation is not lost by hearing your thoughts, but by following them down the road. So as soon as you notice that you're distracted and you're following a thought, just drop the thought and return to your breath. And just do that over and over again. Drop the thought, return to the breath. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. It's our warm-up round. Let's start with a short round of meditation. Welcome. So we'll do that again for a little bit longer. If you notice anything uncomfortable about the way you're sitting, if you need to adjust anything, you could do that now before we meditate for a little bit longer. So when we're meditating, sometimes we get very sleepy when we're meditating because it's very relaxing. So if you have trouble with getting sleepy while you're meditating, one thing you can do is the point at which you're focusing your eyes, you can just raise your gaze a little bit, look at a point a little further up. So you're kind of letting more light into your eyes. You're still looking downwards, but you're letting a little bit more light into your eyes. And that helps if you're feeling a little bit sleepy. And the inverse, if you're feeling like it's just mind is just racing and just really got a lot of energy up there, then the opposite. So you can lower your gaze a little bit. So like less light is going in your eyes. And still your eyes are open, but just a little bit more closed. And that helps to kind of bring that energy level down a bit. So, and also if you are, if you're feeling like it's difficult for you to let go of your thoughts, sometimes we have thoughts that are especially sticky and we just can't let go of them. And so if that's happening, Jetsma is also recommended. You can try like visualizing scissors cutting the thoughts and throwing them away, or visualizing maybe picking them up with spaghetti tongs and dropping them. But if it helps to have a little visualization to cut the thoughts and throw them away, you can do that and then return to your breath. So sometimes we need a little extra trick. So we'll come back to our meditation posture. You want to make sure, however you're sitting, that you feel like you have a stable base. You feel very stable in your seat. And you're sitting up straight. Your body is relaxed. Eyes are open, gazing downwards. Tongue just behind the front teeth. Relaxed. Breathing normally. And your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. So it's really good to meditate frequently, even if it's only for short periods of time. If so that last session was 10 minutes, that felt comfortable for you, do 10 minutes regularly. That's great. If that was really hard for you, do 1 minute regularly. That's great. Wherever you need to start, just doing a little bit of meditation every day, even just like 30 seconds a minute, it really makes a difference. And it's just, we spend 24 hours a day practicing distraction and self-centered thought. So even just the littlest bit of practicing something different, it just starts to turn the tide and makes it a little, it's like going to the gym and working out any, muscle group. You start with like a 2-pound weight, and work your way up to a 5-pound weight and a 10-pound weight, just over time, it gets much, much easier. Even if you start with a 2-pound weight, over time, you do get stronger, and it gets easier. And it's good to have to practice regularly, so that you kind of, if you practice regularly, you'll start to feel like if you miss your daily meditation, it's kind of like, you're like, oh, I haven't eaten for a while, or I haven't slept in a while. You're like, it's kind of been a while since I've meditated. I kind of need that, I want to do that. It feels like it's a regular thing. It starts to become that meditative state of mind, that stable state of mind that you start to finally have a taste of. You start to habituate to it and feel like, oh, I need to go back to that. Instead of constantly feeling like, oh, I need to stay here in my crazy distracted, like wound up state. You start being like, oh, right, got to go back to home base, which is the stable mind. And you start feeling like, oh, I got to do that today. I want to go back to that stable mind. So it's good to meditate frequently, even for small bits of time. You start creating a relationship with that state of mind. So we've got 2 other meditations. So we're going to do, this class is longer than the Saturday meditation class, so I get to chatter more at you. But I'm going to try and fit in all our meditations. So the next meditation that we're going to practice is called Tonglen, or giving and receiving. And this practice develops our compassion. It helps us diminish our self-cherishing. Just prioritizing our comfort over others. It helps us to diminish that. And it helps us to develop equanimity, seeing all beings the same, friends and enemies alike, loving them the same. And in this practice, what we do is we imagine taking the sufferings of all beings and bringing them into ourselves, and then taking our happiness and sending our happiness to all beings. And Gyalta Rinpoche, talking about this practice, he said that, the kind of the feeling with this practice when you're doing this practice is like, if it was very cold out, which it is, if only some of us were sheltered from the cold and some of us were stuck out in the cold, we wouldn't be happy. Even if we were safe and warm inside, if we knew that like some of you were stuck out there, out in the snowcrete, those of us in here, even though we're safe and warm, we couldn't be happy, And that's the feeling. We're all in this together. We want everyone to be safe and warm inside, or if you're out in the rain somewhere, sometimes if you're out hiking, and then sudden rainstorm pops up and then suddenly everyone on the trail like tries to pop under like a rock ledge or something like that and tries to take shelter. And people move out of the way, like, oh, here, there's shelter here, come in. This is what we naturally do, is we try to help each other take shelter from the storm. And we wouldn't be happy if we're there safe and dry and we're just looking at someone out in the rain, and we wouldn't be happy. So we think of all beings and the suffering of all beings, and how can we be happy when they're all suffering? And so, if we could, that feeling of if I could take away your suffering, I would. We want to cultivate that feeling of if I could take away your suffering, I would, and take it on. I think, my son is 3 years old, and when he gets hurt, he thinks, as a parent, he thinks I have magic powers. And so, he thinks that if he bangs his elbow on something, or bangs his head, he goes take it away, mommy, take it away. And he wants you to take the pain away. And I can't. I want to, though. I want to, as much as I possibly could. I want to be able to take this away. I mean, I try to help him, but you can't do it. I can't just take his pain, which he seems to think I can do because I've got special, mommy superpowers. But that wish, that, when your child is hurt and you wish you would do anything to take that pain from them. We want to cultivate that kind of feeling towards all sentient beings with equanimity. So this practice helps us to do that. So sitting in meditation posture, you begin by envisioning one or two beings through whom you easily feel compassion. So these could be, this could be your parents or a sibling, your partner or your child, or it could be your dog or cat. Anyone for whom you easily feel compassion. Just think of them, envision them, and put yourself in their shoes. Imagine what their experience is like and what their suffering is like. Someone you really love. Just what is their experience like? And give rise to compassion. And cultivate in your heart this strong desire to relieve their suffering and secure their happiness. And then bring your attention to your breath. And following the natural rhythm of your breath, as you breathe in, visualize that as you inhale through your nose, you take in all of the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke. And you become completely free of misery. And as you breathe out, visualize that you are sending and they are receiving all of your positive and loving qualities and all conceivable sources of enduring happiness as radiant, pure light, bringing them limitless joy. You might think as you breathe in, May you be free of suffering. And as you breathe out, may you be happy. Now we're going to repeat this again, but this time visualize one or two people for whom you feel intense anger or aversion. So think of someone who you just hate, someone you despise, or someone you don't know why they rub you the wrong way. You just can't stand them. This could be someone you're in conflict with, or someone who's hurt you, or it could just be someone you don't like. But again, visualize them in front of you and put yourself in their shoes and contemplate their experience. So think of the ways in which they suffer and just give rise to compassion for them. And cultivate in your heart a strong desire to remove their suffering and free them from that suffering and bring them happiness. It's good. Holly's going to relieve the suffering of the person stuck out in the cold. All right, so yeah, cultivate a desire to relieve the suffering of this person you dislike and bring them happiness. And then bring your attention to your breath and following the natural rhythm of your breath. As you breathe in, visualize that as you inhale through your nose, you take in all of the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke. And imagine they become completely free of misery. As you breathe out, visualize that you are ascending and they are receiving all of your positive and loving qualities and all conceivable sources of enduring happiness as radiant, pure light, bringing them limitless joy. You can really imagine them being so happy that they just sing, they're just singing and dancing, they're just delighted, they're so happy. You might think as you breathe in, may you be free of suffering, and as you breathe out, may you be happy. Now expand your visualization to include all those for whom you have similar feelings of anger and aversion. And visualize that as you inhale through your nose, you take in all of the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke, and they become completely free of misery. And as you breathe out, visualize sending, and they are receiving all of your positive and loving qualities and all conceivable sources of enduring happiness as radiant, pure light, bringing them limitless joy. And now we're going to expand our visualization one last time to include all sentient beings, all humans, all animals, all of the beings of the six realms. They're all there before you, and visualizing that as you inhale through your nose, you take in all of the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke, and they become completely free of misery. And as you breathe out, visualize sending, and they are receiving all of your positive and loving qualities and all conceivable sources of enduring happiness as radiant pure light. So the last meditation that we'll do, we're going to do one more meditation. So let me just quote about it. So the last meditation that we're going to do is called the Light Expansion Meditation. And this is a meditation created by Jetsma Apanlamo. And what Jetsma has taught is that any trauma, any pain, or any grief that you have ever suffered, anywhere, at any time, the cause of that is separation. The cause of that is the illusion of separation. And anything that's ever hurt you or been a bother to you has been because you believe you are separate from everything. And she says, your true nature is absolute union or oneness. The true nature that you are is light. Effective prayer is about imitating that radiance. Through imitation of your true nature, you come to realize your true nature. You stop thinking about separation, and you stop buying into judgment, and you get out of limitations. Effective prayer is centering into that absolute reality that is the core of what you are. So this is a meditation to do that. Let us become still. Take a deep breath and let it out slowly. Again. Let us center deep within. Center deep within. Deep within, to the presence of the Absolute. And there is radiance. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the physical body. And all of the physical body is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill our beings on all dimensions. And all that we are is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill everyone here. And everyone here on all dimensions is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this building. And all of this building is filled with the light of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this nation. And the government of this nation is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. And the people of this nation are one life. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace planet Earth. All nations and all governments are filled with the presence of the Absolute. And there is peace. and the 8 billion are one life, radiant. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill this galaxy. All planets, all stars, and all life forms are within the embrace of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the universe. All dimensions and all kingdoms are filled with the presence of the Absolute. And in all the universe, there is only one life. Now, as we return our consciousness back to physical form, we continue to embrace all that is and to know union, that we are one. So at the end of our class, we do this Chenrezig practice, the Buddha compassion practice. So Gampo will lead us in this.
Traditionally, we read this in English. Home, in the northwest country of Uddiyana, born in the pollen heart of a lotus, endowed with the most marvelous spiritual attainments, you are renowned as the lotus born, surrounded by a retinue of many dakinis. Following in your footsteps, I pray to you, please come forth and grant your blessings. Guru Pema Siddhi Home. Om Ah Hom Benzer Guru Pema Siddhi Home. Your 1,000 arms are the 1,000 universal monarchs. Your 1,000 eyes, the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate age. You who teach each and every one of us according to our needs. Lord Avalokiteshvara, to you I pay homage. Om Mani Padme Hum Free. Om Mani Padme Hum Free. Om Mani And our dedication is on the last slide. By this virtue, may I swiftly accomplish the state of Chenrezig, and may all sentient beings without exception be placed in that very state. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all our lives.
I think Jane will make some closing announcements. I hope that, hope you all remember everyone who is actually stuck out in the cold. And Buddhist Relief, right now we are collecting winter clothing items and funds in order to do street outreach and provide for people who are out in the cold or who are coming in from the cold and coming to the homeless shelters. So please remember them, and if you can, bring warm clothing items here and drop them off on the porch, or you can also donate at capecbuddhistrelief.org. And the money that comes in will be immediately going out the door to help people. You can guarantee that. So, yeah.
There's a flyer on the table back there that has a QR code, so you can do it right now before you even leave the room. So great, which would be really great. And traditionally, we have we like to suggest that people can make an offering for hearing a Dharma teaching, and we have baskets set up at the door if you'd like to make an offering. And we also have some refreshments for anybody who'd like to stay in the room. So please join us for that, and please come again. And you know, it's amazing that you all came out here on this freezing cold day. And again, please remember those who are not as fortunate enough to stay comfortable and warm. And you know, you can extend the kind of practice that we did in our meditation with, you know, with our support, our financial support. We really hope that you could help us do that. So thank you so much. And come again.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'd like to invite you all to join us in the library, which is the room over out the door to your left, and also the Mani